In Norse mythology, one creature was feared more than any giant, a wolf so terrifying that during the final battle of Ragnarok, he would swallow Odin, the king of the gods. His name was Fenrir. To the gods of Asgard, Fenrir was a monster, a creature destined to destroy the world, a beast that had to be chained before it was too late. But the story of Fenrir begins very differently, because Fenrir was not born as a monster tearing apart the world. He was born a wolf cub, small and powerless, raised among the gods themselves, which raises a strange question hidden inside this ancient myth. Did Fenrir become a monster on his own, or did the gods create the monster they feared? Chapter 1. The Wolf in Asgard. Fenrir was the son of Loki, the trickster god, and a giantess named Angrboda. But Fenrir was not the only strange child they had. His siblings were just as terrifying. Jormungandr, the enormous serpent destined to grow so large it would wrap around the entire world. In Hell, the future ruler of the underworld where the dead would gather. When Odin learned of these children, he did not see innocent newborn creatures. He saw prophecy. Ancient visions warned that these three beings would one day help bring about Ragnarok. So Odin acted quickly. Jormungandr was thrown into the deepest ocean surrounding the world. Hel was banished to rule the land of the dead, and Fenrir was brought to Asgard. At first he was only a wolf cub wandering through the halls of the gods, but even then the gods watched him carefully, uneasy about the prophecy that followed him, all except one, Tyr, the god of courage, who alone was brave enough to feed the wolf and raise him. For a time Fenrir lived peacefully among the gods. But Fenrir did not stop growing. Chapter 2. The Fear of the Gods. As the years passed, Fenrir grew larger than any wolf the world had ever seen. His strength became terrifying, his jaws powerful enough to crush stone, and even the warriors of Asgard began to feel uneasy around him. But there was one important detail. Fenrir had done nothing wrong. He had attacked no one. He had broken no law. The only reason the gods feared him was the prophecy that said one day he would kill Odin during Ragnarok. And the gods of Asgard did not intend to wait for that day to arrive. So they came up with a plan. They would chain Fenrir before he became unstoppable. But the gods did not tell Fenrir the truth. Instead, they turned it into a game. Chapter 3. The Trick That Changed Everything. The gods first brought heavy iron chains and asked Fenrir to prove his strength. If he could break them, they said, his power would be known across the 9 realms. Fenrir accepted the challenge and shattered the chains easily. So the gods returned with stronger chains. Fenrir broke those too. Each time the wolf proved stronger, the gods grew more afraid. Finally, they turned to the dwarves, the greatest craftsmen in all the realms. The dwarves forged a magical ribbon called Gleipnir, made from impossible things: the sound of a cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the roots of mountains, and the breath of fish. Though it looked soft and harmless, it was stronger than any chain ever made. When the gods brought Gleipnir to Fenrir, the wolf grew suspicious. He could sense their fear. So Fenrir made a demand. If the gods were telling the truth, one of them must place their hand inside his mouth as a sign of trust. None of the gods stepped forward, except Tyr. Chapter 4. The Betrayal. Tyr placed his hand inside Fenrir's jaws, and the wolf allowed the ribbon to be wrapped around him. Fenrir pulled against the binding with all his strength, but this time the chain did not break. The ribbon held, and in that moment Fenrir realized the truth. This had never been a test of strength. The gods had tricked him. They had feared him from the very beginning. Furious and betrayed, Fenrir snapped his jaws shut and Tyr lost his hand. The gods dragged the wolf to a remote island and chained him to a massive rock. A sword was forced between his jaws to hold his mouth open, and there they left him, alone, chained, waiting. Final chapter. The Wolf of Ragnarok. For years, Fenrir remained bound, but the prophecy had not been stopped. It had only been delayed, because when Ragnarok finally arrives, Fenrir's chains will break. The wolf will rise from his prison larger and more powerful than ever before. And on the battlefield of the final war, he will face Odin himself, the king of the gods who first feared him as a child. Just as the prophecy foretold, Fenrir will swallow Odin whole. But when you look at the story more closely, it begins to feel very different. A creature feared before he ever did anything wrong. A wolf raised among gods who later betrayed him. And a prophecy that may have come true only because the god tried so hard to prevent it. Because sometimes in mythology, monsters are not born, they are created. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this journey with Snapmentry, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. I'll be bringing you more fascinating stories and myths in the next video.